Joining me now is the Minister of Housing, Ahmed Hussen. Always a pleasure, Minister, to have you on the program. Do you have a target with all these measures, over $10 billion? Do you have a target about how much your government would like to reduce the average price of a home and when that price will fall? What's the goal?
Well, Evan, as you know, Canadians understand that housing is not just within the purview of the federal government. We have some tools and we're willing to deploy them, as you know, through the National Housing Strategy and $14.1 billion in this budget 2022. But we have to work with provinces, we have to work with municipalities, we have to work with nonprofits. And the Housing Accelerator Fund will make a big difference in increasing supply dramatically. We intend, through a number of different programs, both existing and new, to double the expected number of homes constructed in Canada. More supply will stabilize the market and hopefully stop this astronomical increase in home prices that has
you're right. So
really created a challenge for Canadians. But it's not just the Housing Accelerator Fund, which will result in 100,000 new homes by 2024. We will also move ahead, take the first steps with respect to a new innovative rent-to-own program, which is meant to turn more Canadian renters into homeowners. But we're also building the next generation of co-op housing by investing $1.5 billion to build 6,000 new co-ops, the first federal investment in new co-op building for 30 years. The Rapid Housing Initiative extending it there by another 6,000 new homes to the tune of $1.5 billion investment. Bringing forward investments through the National Housing Co-Investment Fund, $2.9 billion, to build 17,900 new homes. So, you know, on the issue of supply, we will work with our partners. We've demonstrated that we can do that to build rapid housing through the Rapid Housing Initiative. Municipalities know that the Housing Accelerator Fund is something that will work for them. That's why we listened to them and we've delivered it through Budget 2022. Now the work begins.
Okay. There's a lot there, so there's a lot to unpack. Let me just start with the Accelerator Fund and increasing the supply of 100,000 homes by 2024. I understand the basic economics. If you increase supply, right, the price should fall. And so I just want the data because this is important. And I recognize, by the way, it's a complex, there's many forces affecting housing, but housing affordability is key. People want to know this. Should the average person, knowing that the Accelerator Fund, is there a goal that your government says, you know what, folks, when we do all this, the average price of a home is going to drop X percentage? What is the target?
We, of course, the Housing Accelerator Fund and more housing supply is part of the solution, but it's not the only one. We're deploying a number of tools to this challenge, including on the demand side, by banning foreign ownership of Canadian residential real estate. We are making sure that the process is more transparent. We're protecting home buyers by introducing and working on a Bill of Rights, a home buyer Bill of Rights. We are taking on the financialization of the real estate sector, which is something that we're going to be working on in the next little while. But on top of that, we are making sure that, you know, as we work on supply, we also deal with some of the demand side issues that have really led to the increase.
And you're listing a lot of things, but look, I'm trying to figure out if they work. The cost of homes have doubled since the Liberals came in power in 2015, as you know. I think the average house price then was $413,000. It's now over $800,000. So this has been going on for a long time. So I just want, again, I want to move on, but is there a target to drop the average price of a home? Yes or no? Like, is that actually part of this plan? Do you expect the average price of a home to drop? And if so, what's the target?
Well, Evan, we are dealing with the price increases. I understand, you know, the challenges that you point to that Canadians face, but Canadians also understand that it is not just the federal government that is supposed to work on this. We know the provinces are working on this. We know the municipalities are stepping up with a number of programs to increase housing affordability. But supply is certainly part of the solution. It is not the only solution, but dramatically increasing supply will have an impact on house price.
So people should expect them, if you're saying that the house price to drop because of the supply. Let me talk about the first-time home buyers, a tax-free savings account up to $40,000. Look, there are some saying this will have an adverse effect. You're trying to decrease the price, but when you give people this kind of incentive and this kind of tax credit, that may actually have the knock-on consequences of driving up demand in the midterm. So you may get more demand that will actually raise prices. Are these measures acting at cross purposes, increasing demand while trying to drive down price?
Absolutely not, because we just spoke about the fact that we're moving forward with a ban on foreign ownership of Canadian residential real estate. In addition to that, we're tackling unfair business practices in the housing sector. I talked about ending blind bidding. We also need to recognize that we will be taking on new measures to tackle house flipping. So making sure that those who sell a newly acquired home before the end of 12 months, within a year, will be charged taxes equivalent to business income. So
right,
there's a number
some
of
of
tools
those,
that
like to be fair, Minister, like the banning of, quote, foreign buyers, and I know there's lots of loopholes there. They tried that in BC. I spoke to the former premier there. It had very little impact, like 2 or 3% of the market there ended up being, quote unquote, foreign buyers. And it actually didn't really drive down house prices at all. I just wonder, is that one of those things where it looks like you're helping, but materially it actually has almost no impact at all, and you know that?
But Evan, you're only focusing on that particular measure. That is an important measure, but I also spoke about, the fact that we're tackling, people who flip homes within a year, and instead of using homes as a place to live and build families and enable them to be accessed by Canadian families, you have folks flipping homes before 12 months. We will be tackling that. We will be tackling that issue by treating that differently from folks who transfer ownership over an extended period of time. That will have an impact on price increases. Supply will have an impact on price increases.
All right, there's lots there. Always good to have you on really the centerpiece of the budget, Housing Minister Ahmed Hussen. Always a pleasure, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Evan. Great to see you again.